Hi, welcome to Electric Trekker Creations. Today's make is for the Friendship Express and the Craft Flicks collaboration. The Craft Flicks is hosted by Acrylic Creations and is based on anything to do with a film or TV show. Friendship Express collaboration is hosted by Resonating Art, Pour Resin with Love, Serendipity Resin Creations, and All Aboard Resin Creations. Today I'm making the well from Silence of the Lambs, where Buffalo Bill says to the lady in the well, it puts the lotion in the basket, and repeats it several times and gets very upset. Today's video is all going to be voiceover me because I managed to completely mess up the audio, so sorry. This is me pretending I know what I'm doing, trying to design the well and attempting to get the proportions right and documenting the different things I'm going to have to make in the hope that I don't forget anything. So I'm using some air dry clay here by Das. I've sped you up through most of this video because this video is less than 20 minutes, and in reality this took me hours hours and hours, and yeah, and I could have just cut out lots, but I wanted you to see some of what I was doing, so I've just made it go very quickly. It's me realising that the lotion bottle that I made is far too big, so I whittle it down to make it a lot smaller. And now I'm making the basket, and I think it's quite genius that I use this bowl to make it, because my fingers are far too big to make a pinch bowl that small. And then I'm just using the tool to try and smooth it out. Here I'm chopping up the bits for the top of the well. I want them to be really irregular. And then this is actually the well itself that I'm making. And obviously I have to stroke it. So just cutting along rough lines at the moment. Checking that it rolls up and it will fit if I cut it where I need to get rid of all the raggedy edges. I smooth that lump out, I promise. I smooth it out, I smooth it out. And then I think I'm being clever, using something I learned from Mia on Pottery to the People, who is an amazing channel, and gave me the confidence to at least attempt this. And this is me trying to slip the edges together, just adding a bit of water to the ends here, rolling it up, and then realising that nope, that's not how she did it. So I'm trying to cut 45-degree angles. And yes, give me a second, I realise. Yep, there we go. And they all need to be alternating. So again, just scoring along the edges, both edges in two directions as Mia does it. then adding water to both ends and then putting them together. And this time they actually go together relatively easy. One thing I need to say is I am not trying to make a perfect circle or have perfect walls. This is the well in Silence of the Lambs that Buffalo Bill built in the bottom of his basement. The idea is it looks like a madman built it. Well, that's my intention anyway. Now I decide the lotion bottle is far too small now that I've actually made the well, so I decide to make another lotion bottle, somewhere between the original size and the itty bitty tiny one that I made. It's amazing how much more time making the small things takes than making the bigger things. I'd like to say welcome to all my subscribers. Thank you very much for subscribing and coming back and watching my videos. If you haven't subscribed, please consider subscribing. There's a button down below near the description. It won't cost you anything, and also if you like the video, please give it a thumbs up. It'll help my channel grow and it'd be much appreciated. Thank you very much. And then I make another basket as well, and this time I do actually make a pinch bowl like you're supposed to create a pinch bowl, as in pinching it between your thumb and your finger. And then I try to make it a square bowl, and I'm using a bit of water here to try and seal up any cracks in the air dry clay. Chopping off the extra bits. Chop, chop, chop. Whoa, it looks like a basket base. Woohoo! And the lotion bottle fits in. And then again I'm smoothing around the edges again so that it looks more basket rather than something that's just been chopped. This is me trying to be clever, making the basket handle. I was not clever. It didn't work. In the end I had to just be a normal person, I think. On the well itself, I score lines around it, trying to make it look like badly placed together stones to make the side of the well. I am not looking for anything that looks well made or pristine. I also scored lines around the basket to make it look like it was weaved. Okay, on to painting the basket. I mixed some brown and some white and then just gave it a basic coat over it, and did the same with the basket handle. And then I painted the lotion bottle pink and put on a little white label on the front of the bottle and did the cap white as well. I added a dark wash to it. The idea of that was to make the indentations on the basket really stand out. With the well, I add basic acrylic paint. I don't add any water or anything to this. I know, I'm sorry, I should have added water. But, you know, I haven't painted anything or done any clay since I was about 13. Okay, so done the base coat on the well and the tops of the well, and now I'm just gonna glue the bits on around the top of the well, the stones on the top of the well. This was a little bit fiddly because, as I'm sure you can see, I didn't make the wall of the well that wide. So I'm now putting on a grey, supposed to be a wash. It starts out a lot thicker than I wanted. So I try patting it off with a kitchen towel and then do the dry brushing a little bit better after that. Don't quite completely cover it in white. And then I go back and I add a little bit of brown here, and I'd like to thank Lula for that, because her description was, it doesn't matter if you make a mistake, just paint over it. So that's what I did. I then put on a dark wash again over the top of the white dry brushing that I did, to again make it look dark and grungy, and then patting it off. And I have to say, I'm actually really pleased with this. Thank you, Lula. I've listened to a number of your videos, and yeah, on the painting, and I used the advice you gave, and I'm actually really happy with how this came out. And then here's the basket, as you can see, and the lotion. And again, I think that's quite pretty. It's just a piece of jute rope. So now for the base, I'm going to put the well in this coaster, and I'm going to use some Eco Pour. I add in a number of different cement pigments, black, red, yellow and green, in the hope of making a really horrible, sludgy, muddy earth. Don't normally try and get muddy earth colour in anything, but I tried, and I think I succeeded. I mix this in while it's dry to hopefully give it a bit of thing, and then add the water. Yay, sludgy brown, horrible colour. Needed a bit more water, but I want it to be really thick and quite sludgy colour, because I want it to look like the basement of his basement where he's added this well to it. So I'm assuming that the ground is going to be not flat and lumpy bumpy. I don't think I've ever poured anything so badly, deliberately. Okay, now it's poured, put the well in it. I'm doing this while it's still wet, because that way I don't need to glue it on. Now then, to add the basket, again just placing it gently on there, and now trying to work out how I'm going to attach the rope at the top, because the idea is Buffalo Bill wouldn't have had the basket hanging over, because he wouldn't want her to be able to reach it. So I attempt to glue it several times, and in the end I give up and I hot air gun it I hot gun it and it works. And then again, carelessly thrown rope on the side of the well, and then just add a little bit of moss here and there. I can't remember if there was moss in the film, but I decided there needed to be moss to show how dank and horrible this well is. Oh, sorry about my hands being in the way constantly. Now comes the moth. The poster has a picture of Jodie Foster's face with a moth over the mouth, and the moth is, it's very dark, but it's got yellow and red on the wings. So I had a moth that I made from a while ago. I hadn't worked out what to do, so I painted it black. I'm just adding yellow to the wings. And then I'll add some red, and then the skulls on it I do dry brushing in red first and then white to make the faces stand out. I promise there's red going on here. I know you can't see it, but I promise there is. Isn't this moth so cute? I'm really happy with it. Going on to demold the base now. There's no point showing you the bottom. The bottom is irrelevant. But there we go. There's the well. And now I've just got to stick the moth on. Trying to decide. It took me a while to decide where I wanted to put it. I decided to put the moth on the side because it's still visible, but it's not in the way. I figured if you moved the rope or you were careful with the rope, you could use this as a pen holder, you know? But if you put the moth at the top on the side of the well, which I was kind of thinking of, then you can't. And again, I am so happy with this. I'm sorry, I'm really happy with how this came out. I think the colours worked really well. I think the proportions, yeah. Oh, and then just here, I point out the fact that I put blood on the inside, and can you see the little nail from the film that starts her screaming? Because I'm not macabre at all, I promise. Thank you for watching my video. Please like and subscribe and come back next week. My next video will be out on Monday, where I'm making incense burners and a few extra friends. Look forward to seeing you then. Bye.